feelfulness here with Daniela Banco, who's experienced feelfulness for the past year and a half and continues to see the effects, the transformative effects of feelfulness, and how this transformation that happened at the deeper levels of the self, how this transformation continues to evolve for her. So Daniela, let's have it.
Oh, hello, everybody. I am blessed by knowing Carmen, and we had this experience 1.5 years ago when I have something to kind of clear in my pathway. That's what I feel. So she was the perfect person who came to help me to do that. And we didn't do very long, I think probably like around 3 months. But the work was very deep, and I was keep asking her, but how will that help me? So I didn't understand exactly what's going on or how's that happening. And she said, "You'll see, just patient. You'll see the work, you know." And I saw right away. If I think you remember, we have an interview, and I keep telling her that somehow I felt suspended. Like I cannot get very angry or very emotional or too involved or too consumed by facts, by
Detached.
stuff.
Okay, the word is detached.
Yeah.
Okay, go on, go on.
And I was asking her, do I ever come back? Like, what's that mean? Like, do I need to stay there forever? And she explained me, well, you'll see what's happening. And it's true. Like, when stress happening, when, stuff around in my life, everybody has stuff, children, work, you get angry, you get stressed. I used to put out everything, but now I am able to go in my triangle, where with help of, my Messiah, my God, I'm praying, and I use that, and I think everybody use their own tools, to
Mhm,
achieve what they
mhm,
need.
mhm,
And being there, I feel like I can look more into me than in outside. So many times I was telling Carmen one time, I was trying to tell my fiance that he's an alcoholic. I decide that in my mind. And one morning he was like waking up, and I'm like, I need to tell you something, and I start telling him, how working too much and doing too much stuff, and he was keep looking at me, and I just want to tell him that I feel like he's an workaholic, and that's
mhm.
my conclusion. And before to say that, I was looking to his face, and I'm like, wait a minute, to whom I'm talking right now?
Uh-huh.
I stopped. I was like, wait, I actually am talking about myself. I don't have enough time. You know, I felt like I'm doing too much stuff around me, and I wish to have more time to spend together and be there.
Mhm.
And it was so easy to blame you for that. And I stopped in that moment when I saw his face, and he's like, well, keep going, tell me. I'm like, no, I forget about, have a great day to work. And I kiss him, and I say, whatever I'm talking was for me, was not for you. So
That's true. And this is as in the old, with the old patterns, this wouldn't been a projection.
yes,
This
yes,
wouldn't been
yes,
a projection, but you bypassed that, you shifted, you lifted, and you were able to recognize the thought pattern and realize it actually belongs to you without, and we didn't even do shadow work. We didn't do work on projection whatsoever. We just did a little bit of a couple of sessions on regression. Um, and there was, what a wonderful sessions there were.
yes,
So much happened there. But then everything else we did was just pure fearfulness.
yes,
And even with that higher mind that you begin to learn the skill, the detached observational skill, it made you feel like you were suspended.
yes,
The
like
best word you could come up. But uh, yes. So and then yesterday you were telling me how you, it is almost weird, but it's also interesting how you are able to uh, differentiate what's true and not true without even without even knowing, but
Yeah,
more specifically how you went back to school for clinical psychology. You everything you study is as if you already know it all, and
I know it.
everything,
Yeah.
it's so
So that's what.
simple, it comes easy to you.
Yes. So I recognize it. That's the word. So I'm looking at stuff and I'm like, yeah, sure, that's the way how it is. Or I'm learning something new and somehow I see exactly how's that in my life, in our lives, people life, even if it's not happened to me. Like when I'm learning a new idea or I'm reading a new book, I'm able to identify and say, yes, exactly. That's the way how it's happening. That's on the base of that rationament. That's the theory, but I know exactly how it's applying in practice. Even much further, I have some papers, some research to do, and they always want to apply it to my life. Oh my goodness, I discovered so much about me. And I went so deep. And actually, one of the teachers said, you took that so deep. Like you can take some papers and actually go back in your history and put the point, say, here, this is why I think like that, or this is why I am like that. How that value either build or make some damage in me
Mhm,
because that
mhm.
happened in that point. And I don't know, for me it was natural. I was like, well, not everybody do that, like you
See,
can go back.
that's right there, right there. Not everybody does it, yes, because what we did with Feelfulness, we didn't do shadow. All we did, we worked at a very deep layer of the self, and that addresses just wonderful experiences you have. You went to just wonderful journeys, and some exercises, attention allocation exercises we did, but because this works on such a deep layer of the self, that which we aspire to achieve, to become in life, bypassing the shadow, not re-experiencing any unpleasantness from early in life. Now you have that incredible ease of observing that, and even as you observe it, that you had that in your life, whether history a few years ago or currently, you're not involved in this experience. It's just something you noticed, but there's no emotional attachment to to this noticing.
Or another example was the movies. So many times I study, and while my fiance is watching a movie, and of course he likes some action movies and stuff and mystery, and I'm just doing my papers, reading something, finishing my stuff, and we have my desk is right in the same room, in the living room.
Mhm.
So I have some earrings, but sometimes I leave it. It's not bother me. I'm able to actually focus on my work without being. But I don't know. Sometimes I hear stuff, and I'm like just catching, so I don't know. And I'm able to tell him who did the murder or what's happening in the movie without even watching. And that's so bother him. He's like, how did you even don't see it? You don't understand. I'm like, it's enough what I hear. This is the way how it's happening, That,
I know
that's not
exactly what you're talking about, because this is, although this looks at something very simple, and knowing what happens next, um, it's something that this is the best example to explain it through, because it is a phenomenon, and it doesn't happen only with just movies. It happens in real life with people, with family, with loved one, with those we don't get along as well. But as there is this access to the consciousness of, and as we've experienced this fearfulness, when we how do I say this better, because it's hard to put it into words. We have easy access, and we are aware of entering this consciousness of, and then there is this, in this consciousness of, there is this fields of knowledge that we have direct access to, and all of a sudden you just know stuff. You don't know where you know it from, but you know it.
Yeah,
And
make the connection somehow. I don't know.
yes,
Put
and it is amazing. Yes, it is amazing because this doesn't apply to the movie, but the movies, it's a good example. I mean, even when I watch the Golden Globes or the Oscars, if I'm detached about who I want to win, I know who they're gonna read the name of, and it's. But I have to be detached, right? No
yeah,
emotions
maybe that's
attached to it.
right. I'm not in the movie. I'm not watching the movie. I'm just listening to some stuff.
Yes, yes,
And I'm
yes.
like, oh yeah, he did it. Look at him. What
Uh-huh.
he said. It's like usually it's a word or something, and it's like,
Uh-huh.
did you remember he said that? So clear he has. That's the motive or something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
That's one. And second, what I want to tell you, because I started going back to theology and studying Bible and stuff.
mm-hmm.
I feel like somehow you recognize, like I feel somehow the truth can be in us. You just need to be able to recognize it. You understand? Like when you study something or you just recognize and you're like, oh, that's a new knowledge. How did I know that? It's just recognizing. I think some universal truth it's in us somehow.
Yes.
And I feel like even being in the nature where you have that feeling and it's somehow you're like, yeah, that's the way how it is.
Yes, and I, yeah, I understand exactly, and I can explain that the best that I can right now. Again, because we worked on this your identity, the self, your identity. Our identity comes with so many veils. We have so many veils, and we are so covered by past conditional upbringing and all of these requirements that the culture and the family and the job they have of us. We become all of these requirements and all of the standards. So as we do this work with Feelfulness, where we worked with you on the origin of you as an essence of existence, these veils begin to become apart, and you begin to experience yourself without the constraints of the condition and without the constraints of somebody else's standards, but in the most with the utmost respect and appreciation for what's around you and life and everything that is created. Because we had some journeys, really deep journeys, going back to, we used what's called the race of creation. It's just so symbolic. It's just a lot of symbolism, and a lot of archetype symbolism. But what that does to the psyche, it is amazing. I mean, I went through it, and when I saw what that did for me, it's it still fascinates me to this day, and I'm just so happy to hear this from you.
Yeah. And what else I was thinking about, and I got a little more involved with my mom and the brother of my mom, and we discovered, because I was keep saying like, why all our people in my family, you didn't know, now I'm going to say for first time, we are so around the globe. Like, how's that? And I discovered that my grandfather in 1911, he was here in America. He took the
Oh,
boat. Yeah, and he go back. He went back.
uh-huh,
So I found his name on one of the islands where they have
uh-huh,
all the immigrants who sign in.
uh-huh.
And I'm shocked. I'm like, how that happened? Like, and I feel like in our bloodline is this thirst of knowledge of um, going around and research and see stuff, because all my cousins are in Germany, in Switzerland, in Australia, in
Mhm,
France, in
mhm,
Spain. I'm in
mhm.
America. We have some more here in America. I'm like, why is that spread? Like entire families going around. And what else I feel at the deeper level, I cannot to explain, but I feel like I'm blessed. Like I feel somehow I pick up the fruits of entire my bloodline. Like I
Yeah,
am here to collect this.
And I'm so happy to hear that, because we also worked on ancestral lineage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always something, and again, this is symbolic. This is just, and Carl Jung talks about this collective unconscious, and we had quite a few sessions on the collective unconscious, and just using symbolism and intention, we worked on releasing the heavy, what we don't need from the collective unconscious of our ancestors. So as you clear that, as I clear that, you begin to appreciate everything, and
Yeah.
to see it through a
Yes.
different light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do feel that, like I in the deep in my mind, for example, in my dad family, for example, we have suicide. We have, so there was some heaviness going on there, you know. Some people with problem like psychological problems, you know, and
Mhm.
so there are people who were heavy. So weight is heavy on them. So it's not like it was not an easy line. Let's say, oh, nothing happened, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you can go in and heal that in subconscious, somehow you heal your entire bloodline, and
And
somehow
we did without working on this directly. And this is the fascinating work of Feelfulness, that it's all symbolic. A lot of it is a collective unconscious, that is patterns that you are inheriting, these patterns from your upbringing, but also from the collective unconscious. And through this symbolism, uh, me and you and other people, we are able to, what's the better terminology right now? We're able to release all of that, to remove the veils and come to your truth. And again, as we release those patterns that don't serve us, and you already recognize how many patterns they don't serve you, and clarity comes in.
Mhm.
Clarity is one of the first thing that
clarity
comes
and
in.
empathy, because now I'm shocked. Like before, to tell you something, like for example, let's say I want to tell you a truth. I'm praying to my Messiah. I'm thinking how to tell you in order to build you up. You understand?
Uh-huh. There
I'm
you
not
go.
coming
Yeah,
and lower it up, you know, your
that's
praise bond, for example, something, you know.
right
So I'm
there.
like, I'm thinking
It's
like,
generating states of being, and me and you, I didn't even walk you through generating states of being. I didn't even take you there, and you already. It's just it still fascinates me, but I'm just so happy to hear it from you, because you've experienced it. Yes, fearfulness eventually arrives to generating states of being, and it's some access to the fields of knowledge. And just as you describe it, when you have an interaction with somebody else, you are um, respectful of their state of being, and you care about they are going to receive this information.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And even more like somehow I see them deeper than that level, like whatever they put it on the face, you know, I see behind. I can give you an example, which I was shocked that
Uh-huh.
some people think that that's emotional intelligence. I think it's something more than that. So a friend of mine whom I'm trying for a time to get more closer, you know, and to talk a little more. So I told her, we were in the church. I told her, hey, you know, I'm going to send you some email, a link about something that I studied recently. You know, I didn't send her too much, just like few. She never answered to me back, and she
Mhm.
turned to me. She said, "Did I ever ask you to send me anything?" And I was here, like, let me give you, let me show you, like, what I discovered something. And I was like punch face, like this is what I felt, and I was like, oh, oh. And I took a moment. I'm like, wait, what's happening here? I felt hurt. That was my first stuff, you know. I was like, but why? Like,
Enthusiasm. That's
because
just.
I want her to respond, but I'm like looking her, but why she's punching me like that? Like, what did I do to her? Nothing. Okay, so it's something in her, something bother her.
I'm going to explain this to you.
It's,
I'm going to explain this
and
to you.
and I breathe in. I get in my triangle. I
Uh-huh.
do my rose. I clear everything clear. I
Uh-huh.
take her hand and I say, I just want to get closer to you, and I don't know how. Help me.
Wow. See? So what happens there? This wonderful enthusiasm, like the enthusiasm of a child that just discovers the world and wants to learn all about it and wants to play with everybody and everything. This is such a powerful state of being, this enthusiasm, because you create and you build so much with this enthusiasm. And then when you, me and you, I get this all the time, when this enthusiasm comes over and you have this goodness to give, because it's gold, it's the gold of the knowledge gold, right? Because once you have that and apply, everything in life shifts, right, at a different level of consciousness. But there are so many people that whatever their progress is in their evolution, whatever their stage in their path is, they're not able to receive this enthusiasm.
Yeah.
So it is, this enthusiasm is so pure, and not everybody can get to this pureness. It takes a while to get to this purity of heart. Remember, we did a lot of smiling heart,
Yeah.
right? So they are not equipped to the evolution of their consciousness to where they're at. It's not wrong. It's just we're all of us are there at some point. No, they couldn't receive that.
My case,
And you knew exactly what to say to her when she denied your offering of enthusiasm, of this gold of knowledge, and you knew exactly to tell her that you just want to come
yeah,
close
but that
to
was
her.
humility. And I was thinking, like, I need to swallow a little to do that, you know? And I realized, first of all, I think what helped me, that's what's happening a lot to me. I see the
Mhm.
other one completely out of me. And then in that moment when I look, but this happened in fraction of seconds, you know, like it's not. So I saw her, she's in the church and she doesn't believe in God. So she was suffering through that speech, whatever is happening there, you know. So
Mhm.
she was not in the comfortable spot, you understand? So she was angry, maybe, you know. So when I'm telling this, let me send you, by the way, whatever it was preaching, you know, I'm like, oh, by
Mhm.
the way, about that, I need to send you something more because I discovered psychological something about what he was talking, you know.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And in that moment, I was like, did I ever want you to tell me something or send me something ever? Did I
There
ask you
you
that?
go.
Please don't. You know, like that
Yes.
was the, but I saw her pain, you understand?
Yes.
And
Yes.
that was make me swallow my punch. I'm like, okay, who I am, but look at her, you know? So I clear everything around me. And then I was able to tell her, but what I want. And I say, okay, my purpose was to be closer to her. So I took her hand in my hand and I say, I just want to get closer to you. I don't know how. Teach me how.
That's again, you humble. This is humility. And again, when you enter this enthusiasm, the purity of this enthusiasm, and you didn't react as you would have a year ago or 2 years ago,
Oh yeah.
so you would have reacted and
But
said, "Oh, why
that's
are you
what I
so mad?"
felt first, you know. I felt that
Yes.
punch. I was feeling like a punch, like you know, like this.
Uh-huh.
I was like, what? I'm like, you know, like
Humility. Yes.
and then I was like, wait, let's clear. Let's get an answer. This is not about me. So now let's see. I know exactly what I want. Let's see what's happened to her, you know.
Yeah.
And when I understand her position, then I was able to say my message was different. It was not the hey, let me show you something. It was more like, I want to get in touch more with you. I want to hear more from you. I want to learn from you, you know.
You honor her. You met her right there. You met her at her level of consciousness. You continue to have your enthusiasm, the purity of who you are. You humbled yourself, which is humility. It's again a higher level of consciousness. And
Mm.
then you generated a state of being for according to what she needed. And in that moment, you honored her exactly where she's at.
Yeah.
So that
That's
that
what
made an impact.
I feel many times around me, like with many people. And many times it's kind of weird, but I choose to be quiet. Don't interfere. That's not your battles. You know, like it's more like, okay.
Yes, correct. You see, yeah, this is another another big deal, and you are so you are so evolved already into all of the work as a psychologist you're about to do in a couple of years. You already have the tools and you have this clarity of how to be of service to others. And it shifts, and it's not like you have a script in regular what's out there. Is there is a script, there's a format, there's a table, there's a form, and you do check marks and question for that. But that doesn't apply to everybody. And to be able to respond on a spot like that, according to what the other person need, what she needed right there, you knew exactly what to say to her. So she's honored and seen and heard. So this is a big deal. It's not just a little story.
Thank you. Thank you for working with me.
Yes, yes. But these fields of knowledge that you begin to have access to, this kept on going for how long? Because we didn't work a year and a half together. We only worked, I don't know, 4 or 5 months.
Not only knowledge, I feel a thirst, like I'm thirsty for this.
Yes.
And even my fiance is I'm like, when you get all this information, like how, when? Because you work, you have job, you have house, you have child, you have extra job, and you have schools. So when you are in contact, so I feel it's pouring in. This is the word. Like I don't need to go search it. Somehow it's coming to me, and when I
Yeah.
really conscious, it's like, hup, hup, it's here.
You
You know.
absorb it quickly, correct? It's like you don't have to read the whole book,
Mhm.
but or you don't need to read the whole article to know
Or
exactly
to
what's in it. Yes.
or to
It,
know, know the essence of that theory or something.
yes. And
And
this is
the idea is like you know how to apply it right away. So I see very practical, not only theory. Right now when I'm reading something like, wow, it's exactly like in my situation, or oh, I read about that. Oh, so maybe that's what they have there, or that was the trouble where they went in. Oh, I see that now.
this is the how. How is the most important question in life, and especially as a therapist, as a people helper. HOW, how is the most important, because one size doesn't fit all, and tailoring is very important. And you you have this thirst for knowledge, but because your consciousness has shifted, right? And you, how do I say this? Because there's so many ways I can see this. Um, as you enter a knowledge, whether it's an article or a book or whatever knowledge is in front of you, it doesn't take you long to get to the heart of it. And you absorb it quicker without having to spend, like, let's say it takes otherwise it would take you about 5 minutes to read an article. You scan read it, not even 1 minute, and you already know what's in the article and how to apply it. How to apply it the is the question today, because what everybody talks about, what, and even in school right now you learn about what a lot, and you will continue to see that very little tell you how it works and
My
what to do
papers were
about it.
all about how. So this is why
Yes.
my papers were not short. This is what everybody told me. And at the end of each paper, all my professor was like, "You went so deep. That
Yes.
was deep." I'm like, "Yeah, well, that's the way how it's supposed to go. Like we have, for example, to analyze culture, our family, our
Mhm.
and we went to like when I'm telling about the grandpa who was here in America and our thirst of knowledge and stuff and what you inherit, like culturally. I'm like, I am so rich. Let me tell you more. So I connect some dots and I understand like somehow how lucky I am. And my purpose is to help other maybe to connect like you, to connect their own dots. And I don't know, maybe live a better life, be better for people around us, more understanding, more accepting, more welcoming, more, I don't know, deeper maybe. That's a word that I need a lot in my
Well, you're already doing deep. You're already doing deep, and if you are if you already do the work of how, and you weren't taught how, you weren't required to do how on your paper, of course your teachers are amazed, because that's where, this is a therapist, as a people helper, this is what you're gonna get as a coach. How is the most important. And yeah, well, I'm so, it's just, I continue to be a lot of experiences. A lot of these experiences are hard to put in words.
Mhm.
And it took you a while to put this in words. And every time you would send me a text and about something, about, really doesn't matter, I would see the effect of the work we did. But the last text you sent me, and I said, yes.
We need to talk.
Yes.
Yeah. Another stuff which is a little, it's coming with plus and minuses, it's not all, you know, I feel more, it's not as I'm looking so I'm very open personality, so I need friends, I need people around me, and I'm looking for people around me, and I accept people to their own, the way how they are, their own level, their own mind, their own work, their own,
Mhm.
but I'm looking, I need a little something to resonate with. And it's harder and harder to find that. And it's about requiring that deep level, what I'm talking about. It's okay to talk about clothes, about jewelry, about flowers, about garden, about, I don't know, even politics or whatever you want. But let's connect us. Tell me something about you.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, it is okay. Well, me too.
Yeah.
Me
So
too.
that's I
So,
find farther and farther. And unfortunately, this is what even my son came to me, told me, Mom, did we fit in this group here, in this area? I don't know. I don't feel like I'm fitting. And I'm like, oh, I just think about that last week too. I'm like, oh yeah, you fit. Of course, you're going to make friends and you want to impersonate and project good. And but I was like, yeah, if my son feels that too,
yes, it's I'm glad you brought your son into the discussion. It is a different level of consciousness, and you talking about mundane stuff, superficial stuff, it's, to you it's very boring. You can of course be kind and
information,
entertain
first
this
level. Yeah.
conversation, yeah, but mundane stuff, it's doesn't have any how in it. And now you're so in love with how that it makes a difference, it shifts everything. And me too, I kind of want everybody to understand how. But I'm glad you brought in your son, because I remember when your son went into this summer camp,
Mm-hmm.
went into the summer camp, and he displayed leadership qualities. He's at
Which is
this young age
challenging.
displayed, but
Challenging the power, the authority,
yes,
questions.
but he too actually he protected a boy that was younger than him, that boy that was bullied. He went to protect him, right,
Yeah.
and stood up for him. And your son, I mean, how old was he?
So he was like 13, I think.
Okay, so very young, right? So not only he displayed leadership qualities, uh, well, leadership and kindness and compassion, but right there in the environment that he was at, he was disciplined for behaving as such, because boys at his age, they don't behave like that. And that troubled you, and it troubled me a lot. So I spent some time with your boy, and he is extremely intelligent. He has a high emotional intelligence. And I'm so happy I was able to bring that to your awareness and help you understand his level of emotional intelligence. And it continues to show right now,
Yeah.
because you're right. When a lot of us that are a bit more, our consciousness is a bit more evolved, more emotional intelligence, whichever label we people want to put and it feels as if there's no direct connection with these people, because people, they are not able to meet you at your um, level of emotional intelligence, at your level of consciousness to where you've arrived. And it feels a little bit lonely, just a
Yeah.
little bit, but
And
not for long, not for
yeah, it's
long.
not for long because I went in Egypt and my experience there, people are very warm. And of course, I went in a family. So my fiance have the family there. And we went scuba diving and there were lots of men and women and the women are cooking. And I'm like, you guys speak my language.
Yes.
Like, it was fun. It was like alive. It was like tasteful, everything. It was like, and I'm like, yes, 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 I recognize this is familiar.
Simple things in life, simple things in life that are so important, because we're so busy in this day of age that we don't appreciate the simple things in life. There was a lot of nurturing. So there was so much nurturing, and it was a little bit of new type of nurturing, but also you recognize the nurturing that it was provided with, without any expectation of return of nurturing. And of course you appreciated that. And
Yeah.
at this level of consciousness, it's so easy to recognize and appreciate and become humble and respect and appreciate all of these higher qualities of beingness, because not every human needs to go to a lot of school or a lot of development to be an evolved human being.
What I observed in Egypt after the dinner and stuff, they were like maybe 20s and 30s and 40s there at the table, and of course 60s, and everybody sit around, we have a tea and we talk. And I didn't talk too much, but every time when I asked question, the more they were interested, they were so open. They were like, wait a minute, so you have access to that? Why? Like, we talk about family, about why divorce, like how hard it is to find your partner in this world. And it was a girl who said, well, I stopped dating, I don't believe. And I said, why? What you're looking into. So when I started asking all these questions, they're like, what is it? Tell me more. Is it like this person actually, do you have that knowledge? Okay, so why? How? Tell us. So it was like very, and we talk about family and the values in the past. And the daughter of my fiance was there. She has 3 children. And the mom said all the time when her son, which is her husband, wants to be pampered or something, or he's sick, he's coming to her house and sleep there. And
Mhm.
that's very wise because the mother is the one who actually nurture you. Which the wife, she has a baby. She has other stuff. So she'll be like, ugh, just be a
Yeah,
man. And he just,
yeah.
mommy, mommy. And I'm like, I'm so amazed that you allow that. You know how many women will be threatened? Like, what? I'm like, you appreciate your in-law, the mother, respect her, and she can take care of the needs of your husband right now while you are busy with other 3 children. I'm like, that's awesome. That's family. That's, you grow each other. And they're like, wow, we never thought like that. I'm like,
Yes,
that's the way how it is. That's the family. That's,
yes.
you don't have all the functions in that family. You let other people to take some functions, and you're not threatened by them, and you appreciate their help and support. you know
Yes, and this is the higher level of emotional intelligence and more expanded conscious, because this is outside of the standards, right? So yeah, yeah, I'm just happy to see that you are able to see that. And I don't know how people are tired of the standards, and a lot of people are, well, the whole humanity is evolving and more people are able to see that. I remember we talked about how this friend of yours, how, well, this happens with a lot of people. As we evolve, as we go into personal development, we learn um, there are different standards. So as we learn this next level of standards, one of the first step, it's just so instinctual. People take this first level of standards and then they go criticize others that are not per the standards. that of course they're in contradiction to the new standards, and they criticize in such manner that, oh, you should learn all of this and you should get to this. Well,
Yeah.
it takes a little bit. Yeah, everybody on their pet, they're at the perfect level of evolution in their life. So as we learn to new standards, and as we become this new
But are
standards,
they new? This is my question because they are not new.
well, no, not as
I
in
recognize
creation.
them.
The entirety of creation is not you. It's a next level in personal development. So after a few of these incidences, as personal development continues to go, to go further, you begin to realize that, hey, there's nothing I need to criticize these people, because there are new standards. So I need to be of service to not help them, but meet them where they're at,
Mm.
and whatever they need that you can offer. This is a very, very important aspect of personal development, professional, any kind of development. I call it evolution, whatever we are on our path. And when somebody continues on their development, and they continue, if they continue to take these new standards and criticize other people for how wrong they're doing it, because they don't behave, they don't think, they don't act, they don't appreciate, they don't value this new um, standards, the new next level standards, they they need to learn more, they need to develop more, because
And
it feels
empathy.
as if, and I notice a lot of people, it feels as if everybody becomes a coach, everybody knows the new mindset, but there is so much criticism in there.
Mhm.
So there's a bit more steps to travel, a bit more road to travel, to stop the criticism and provide nurturing. And nurturing comes in so many different aspects.
Because something what I keep feeling, and this is what I tell, it's not racial, it's not you and me. We are one. We are connected. I take
Mhm,
care of you, I take care of me. If I take
mhm.
care of the family there, it will be me. I nurture myself. So when you are able to feel that in the other person is not another person, it's something like you, the same, connected, then it's different. And I think this is what I try to understand. I access that other person, but in relation with me. And in the moment when, like you have two hands, it's like this hand is one hand and this is another one. And this one do this and this one try to come. Oh, okay, now, okay, here we go. You know?
Generating states of being, yes. And I
Yeah, and
didn't even.
you can come to the other one understanding whatever level it is, states, whatever you want to say. But when you recognize that it's like you have that patient care. You see this, look, this one is like this, and this one is like, okay, okay, okay. I understand.
It's a beautiful way to explain it, but this is generating states of being. And eventually, this is what fearfulness takes you to: generate a state of being that is appropriate to a particular circumstance. So, this is all of the triangles we work with. We work with so many different triangles, we work with so many different states. And how easy for you it is to generate a state that is needed right there in a moment. Just make a triangle. All of this word triangle, it's just three different states that you combine together, and it's whatever is appropriate to the circumstance.
And when
You
you
cannot
calm
get
down,
any better.
when you are calm down there, and you are like in yourself, then it's easy to observe. Like you
Oh
see
yeah, the
outside of you,
observer.
what's going on there. Like, wait, so what's bother her? Or for example, with my fiance, he cannot fight with me because I'm looking at him and I'm like, okay, I see what's going on, so let's talk. So I'm very, I all the time, the more agitated, if he begin, two times this happened just in our life, 2 hours,
Uh-huh,
years and a half,
uh-huh.
the more calm I am and the more humor and more I'm
There you
like,
go.
baby, okay,
Yes.
talk, oh, I see what you are feeling. Let me explain. Let me see if I understand right. And I'm putting in he's
Mhm.
feeling in my words. And I'm like, did you feel like that? Is that a way how you think?
Oh,
Or
there's a therapist in you already. The
but it's
therapist
funny
in you.
because he realized that, oh, so I'm like, I'm trying to be gentle to say it's something that you're fighting right now. It's with you. You don't fight with me. Do
Yeah.
you understand? It's
Well,
something in you. Either
that's
in
the
spiriting,
therapist. You're
something.
already a therapist right there.
No, no, he doesn't. It's okay. He's working with himself, and he
Hmm.
knows that. And he said, "Yeah, just give me a little space to work that feeling." And he said, I'm working on that feeling." You know,
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah.
No, that's
But
wonderful. Yeah,
but it's a lot
everybody.
of space from me and a lot of understanding. But that's what I see. I'm not seeing just you, Carmen. I'm seeing maybe some pain or something what's happening there, or some, oh, I want this, or or some revenge or some, like I can feel what is behind your mask.
You see the states. You, you see people's states, and this is gonna make you a wonderful therapist. You're already evolved, and when you're gonna begin to practice, everybody's gonna love you, right?
I
Because
hope so. I hope I can help everybody, and I even have my
you
cousins
will.
and my friends. They all come, and I'm here for them to support them and understand. And sometimes I even tell them, maybe you just need somebody to listen. They said that if you talk 7 minutes with somebody, it's almost like okay, you kind of let it go. You pronounce it, you say the words, and it's kind of like you're
Yes, it
like
comes
throw it
out.
out from you. Take
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
As
So now
long as
it's
you
out.
talk, as long as you talk in an I, as long as you don't criticize
Oh yeah.
somebody else. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, what do we do with the people who use this knowledge, who have this knowledge, but they can use it in the other way, to
Uh,
manipulate?
well,
To
what that's a good question, because what we can do, we generate a state of being, we generate this consciousness that could help nurture the other consciousness in a positive way. And Dr. Hawkins, David Hawkins, he's calibrated consciousness, and he's already got a formula that I should bring that on the screen, but maybe next time. That for every there's already so many studies being done that on Sunday morning when then during church services the crime is so much lower. Why? Because there is so much prayer and kindness and compassion and reverence for life, and a lot of peace in the heart, and praying for others as well, that others receive this consciousness and it nurtures them. So when
we are able to project.
it's not projection. This is very different than projection. This is nurturing. So remember when we had the exercise where you were inside the sphere, and then we would put stuff outside the sphere, right next to the sphere. That's a symbolic exercise as to you create a consciousness for what's needed for people to absorb at their own pace. So when somebody is of not very good energy, I don't want to put many labels on it, but not of very good energy, everybody has some sort of pain. Very few people on a planet enjoy hurting others, very very few. But a lot of people that hurt others, they're not aware that what they do, how they handle, how they present, what they say, whatever actions they have, that it's hurtful to others. So as when me and you and other people create this consciousness of kindness, compassion, respect, acceptance, forgiveness, reverence, of being there for one another, this consciousness multiplies, right? It's imagine just being a cloud. You form a cloud that rains, begin many many droplets of rain, and it's just one cloud, right? So
Yeah, it's
all of the droplets of rain, it begins to nourish everything else that touches. Only
like
that
that
it's
feeling
not physical.
when my fiance said, when you enter in the room, it's like the room is getting full, like you fill up the room, like you take over.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not taking over nothing. I want to project happiness and to show
Not project. No,
recovery.
this is
Yeah,
not projection. So
yeah.
don't use the word project. You
No
express
project.
it. You
I'm.
exude.
It's what I am. I'm like,
Exude.
I show you what is inside, and this is who I am. Like authenticity. I was thinking about that a lot because he was saying one time something like, "Oh, let's go, but don't talk." Like I'm not talking. I'm just being. He say, "Yeah, but don't do that." I'm like, I'm not going to say nothing, or I'm not going to
Uh-huh.
pick on people or something. But if if I'm asked, or if they observe something, I will tell them why or what's in my,
Yeah. Yeah.
like what.
Other words, yeah. Don't be so enthusiastic because
Yeah,
don't nurture so much with your enthusiasm because everybody, other people cannot receive that much
but I think
enthusiasm.
that's the way to be. The more authentic we are with authenticity, I get grow and grow more on towards these words. I feel like that's showing who you are and what's inside in you.
Yes.
That's showing that authenticity, regardless of what situation you are. Yeah, and I can be more quiet. I can be very quiet sometimes. I can just listen, and that's okay too. Because I'm learning about people around me.
See, right there. You don't have a need anymore for somebody to approve of you, and you don't have a need for someone to nurture you because you've gotten. I mean, you already worked with your with the self. With it's not the inner self. It's just two different terminologies. At the core, you work at your core, and as you work at your core, you begin to see that you have everything you need, you already have. But how this happens, it's quite interesting because by not by not behaving from having the same standards from the old standards that are conditioned, that are expectations of you, and all of that. As you work at your core, you begin to see that you have everything you need, and actually so much more that you begin to offer.
Hmm.
So
Gratitude, that's another state which I'm many times, especially when my food is coming out so good. I cook too much and I give to all my friends and the neighbors, and I'm like, here, get some. Yeah, it's
yeah,
true. It's true. So authenticity, and gratitude, I think these are like so nice together. I
if
love them.
anything, if any prayer we say the rest of our life, anything we say to anybody the rest of our life is thank you, we've arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carmen. You
Thank you, Daniela. All right, so we stop for now, right?
I don't know if you want to talk, we can do it more.
Okay, we'll give it an end and we'll continue next time.